Good morning, it's George Adventure here. Today's video is on fear. Monday morning inspirational is on fear. We all fear things in life. Some of the fear, and I'm guilty of this, is fear of things happening that hadn't happened and that may never happen. Kind of fear we get up here for no reason. People fear different things in life. A lot of people fear death. People have a fear of bugs or snakes or fear certain people. And fear can be very debilitating to people, even a little bit of fear. Now, I've working in the job I've worked all these years. You get fear of things, and it's a real fear. I've been at a stage in there when a hurricane was coming through, and so that puts a lot of fear in you. I've had things happen at work that put fear in me, where I literally would run from it, try to run, get away from it. And some people, some of their fear they can't run from. A lot of it's up here. A lot of it's imaginary. We fear death. We fear, we fear sending our kid to school because something may happen to them, but God doesn't give us the spirit of fear. We're supposed to pray and lean toward Him. Let Him take care of our fear for us, because we all got it. We all got some kind of fear. You fear with you got children and grandchildren, and I'm guilty of this. I fear, maybe I might fear a little bit of something happening to one of them, or car wreck, or somebody doing something to them, and that's where fear, I know how fear does me. It makes me pray more. It makes me really lean in on God, because that's the only way you can get relief with some fear. We watched my mother with terminal cancer die, and I didn't have any fear about that, because she suffered so bad that I was ready to let her go. But my daddy had fear of living without her, so that's understandable. That was his love of his life. People fear different things. I've seen people just terrified at a snake, where they won't even go outside into the woods or anything, or they're that fearful, or insects, or alligators or whatever. They just have this fear of certain animals. Some fear is made up, and we're all guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of fearing something that hadn't happened, that may never happen, but something that I think up here that could happen. So I develop a fear for it, and it could be, well, I don't want to, if we go to Florida, if we drive, I don't want to have a flat tire. We may have a flat tire, and I'll have to call a tow truck, or if I ain't, you just go from one extreme to the other, and it can be debilitating. A lot of, and of course, there's a lot of things out there to fear. There's a lot of things that's going on in our country. A lot of crime, and we don't have as many police as we had, and a lot of mean people, a lot of bad people out there. So, and people that carry guns, I'm one of them. I think some of it is fear. some of it is being careful, but I think some of it is being fearful when you carry a gun, because, and a lot of it is being cautious, wanting to protect yourself, but there's fear involved in that, because you got a weapon on your side, so you got that fear. You got the fear of somebody doing something to your family, or doing something to you. And I've been robbed. I was robbed, I guess, what was it, 2003? I was robbed in Atlanta. Old guy didn't point the gun at me. He pulled it out and showed it to me, and that's all it took. And I gave him $22. Let him have that $22, and he ended up wanting my neck warmer I had on my neck. So I took it off and gave it to him, and he walked off. He walked away. You know, he could have shot me, or, you know, and it was funny because I didn't have time really with that. I didn't really have time to have any fear. It just happened so quick. But I gave him my money thinking, okay, here, you know, go away. And he went away. So I called the police, Atlanta police, and you know, they kind of giggled about it because he got $22, asked me what he looked like and where he went and all this stuff. You know, but when I told them he pulled a gun out, then they got serious. They got serious about it. That takes it to the next level. That makes it a felony. So they took off, went the way he walked, but, you know, they probably never caught him. But, you know, I didn't have time to have fear, but once I got to thinking about it, that fear kind of set in, and I thought, well, my mistake was stopping in Atlanta to fill up my truck. I should have filled it up near my home. You know, that was the thing. I had my pistol in my glove box. That was another mistake I made. Another mistake, I let him get in my space. But so sometimes something like that can happen, but you don't have time to you just react. And, you know, I didn't really, when he showed me that gun, I just said, okay. So I took my wallet out and gave him my money. He didn't want my wallet or anything. He wanted that money. I'm sure it was some drug money. But, you know, the fear kind of set in afterwards. But, you know, we're not supposed to have a fearful spirit. We're supposed to, if we fear things in life that hadn't happened, that we think could happen, that probably won't happen, but we're fearful of it, and I'm guilty of that. We're fearful of it. You know, what if something happens to my wife driving in today? Or that's where you have to really, really, really pray and ask God to take that fear away, take that fear out of you. Just take it out of you. You know, when we moved and we put our house up for sale, I feared that we wouldn't sell the house and we'd be stuck with another house. And my wife would say, you got to let God, you got to have faith. You got to have faith. My wife would tell me that. And I'd say, well, we're not going to sell it because the interest rate's high and blah, 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 you know. But we sold it. We're closing on it Friday. So that fear was unfounded. There was no reason for me to fear. So I had to start praying real hard. And the more I prayed about it, and I'm not trying, I know there's people that probably watch this channel that don't, you know, have God in their life much, but, you know, I do, and I'm gonna share him. So if that makes you stop watching my channel, then just so be it. But fear, you know, that kind of fear, when you making it up, that's where, you know, you really gotta ask God to be with you and guide you. And he's always with us. God don't want us to fear. He wants what's best for us. Yeah, he allows us to go through trials and tribulations in life, because it makes us better people. It makes our faith for him stronger. And it does. It makes us stronger. It makes us lean into him more. And that's what he wants. So, you know, and when you fear things, if you'll step back a little bit, especially the things you make up, kind of, like I said, I'm guilty of it. Like, you know, what if What if we don't sell our house? What if this happens? Or what if we got it over there and it's up for sale and the roof leaks? Or, that's just unfounded fear, and you make it up, but it causes you unnecessary fear. So that's where you have to pray to let God, just let him take care of it. We closed on our house Friday. He took care of it. He blessed us. And we got a guy with a cash offer. That was even better. So a lot of fear is unfounded. There's some fear that's not. When that counterweight on that crane fell a couple months ago, when I was in Atlanta, I was literally standing right up under where it hit. That fear set in because I thought it was an explosion. And then when all that stuff started falling, that fear, that was the kind of fear that's real. So all I knew to do was take off running. I ran. That was fear guiding me. Ran out in the street and everybody else was running, and then the fire trucks came. So that was unfounded fear, but it was over quick, but God was there, and it didn't fall through and squish all of us, kill us. So we made it through it. And God's been with me for a lot of years in some scary times. He's been with me through a lot of hard times, scary times. We've all been through stuff in life. And you think, well, how did I make it out of this? Well, you made it out of it because God brought you out of it. Lord brought you out of it. So, So if I offend people talking about God, that's just the way it's going to have to be. And if you unsubscribe to my channel, that's fine. That's fine with me, because he comes first. So, it's a really a debilitating thing to fear. The imaginary fear is the worst. So with that, y'all, I am carrying this today. Might as well throw a little knife in there. Carrying this today. Still trying to find one of these for Kent Smith. Golly, man, it's impossible. So my fear is I can't find one. Just kidding. But, this is what I'm carrying today, and I love the Warncliffe blade on this thing. And I found a large copper lock on eBay. It was the orange, the burnt orange, or they call it autumn orange. I think that's what it's called, autumn. But anyways, it's an autumn orange. It's kind of a burnt looking orange. It's a darker color than the persimmon bone. So I found a copper lock. It didn't have a box with it, but it was new. Well, it was an owner, but it's basically a new one with the Warncliffe blade. So I followed it for a while on the watch list. Had it on my watch list, and I ended up getting it. I got it for $62. I thought that was a pretty good for a copper lock like that. That's not being supposedly going to be done away with. And I asked the case lady at the case knife tour in Alabama, and she kind of gave me she basically said they have so many knife patterns they're having to cut back on some. And I told her, I said that's going to be a mistake, cutting back on that pattern, because people love that big copper lock. Now I like the mini copper lock, don't get me wrong. I've got a couple of them and I like them. They're good carry knives. But I like the big one also, and then I don't understand, why. But anyways, that's the case. That's their business. Also, carrying this Saudi today. Y'all know I love a Saudi. I love the orange. So carrying this from the Smoky Valley sunset. I want to get the trapper in this. I've got the 75, which I don't carry. I put it up, but I want to get the trapper, the big trapper in this, or the mini trapper. But this is in my, I think I've got 4 Saudis that I carry, and this is one of them. And y'all, if you've never carried a sod buster, I'll tell you, it's just a nice, great EDC knife. It's a great all-around carry. But that's what I got, and I got my bench made. So, you know, got that going on. But you know, knives are a great hobby. I talked to a friend of mine, another little story right quick, and I'll close this thing. I got a friend of mine that retired before I did. Me and him worked together for years. Good guy, one of my best friends. He lives near Savannah, and he called me Saturday evening. I was sitting out there cooking hamburgers, and he called me, and we were talking, and he's seen my Instagram, but I told him I had a YouTube channel. I gave that to him, but he got talking a little knife stuff with me, and I had forgotten that he was a case knife collector. You know, I don't think he collects as much as I do, but he said, yeah, I hadn't done it in a while. He said, I'll buy some every now and then, but you know, I said, oh yeah. I said, I started back because I started buying my grandson a knife for Christmas, a case knife for Christmas, and putting it up. And then I'm gonna give him all of them here, you know, probably when he turns 16, or maybe a little less than that. And I told him, I said, yeah, that kind of got me back more interested. I've always carried a case knife. I was carrying a case knife, you know, and I quit collecting them a few years ago, and I probably hadn't collected them in 10 years. Maybe 10 years or so, maybe a little less. But when I started buying, yeah, it's probably 10 years, but I started back about 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, buying my grandson case knife. So I started collecting about 6 years ago. So he sent me a text yesterday morning and said he got his case knives out, started looking at them, and he was wanting to start collecting. And he asked me what my favorite bone was, and I said, well, I like persimmon bone. I like the harvest bone, autumn harvest bone, which I just bought that large copper lock. I said, I love chestnut. I said, and a lot moss brown. I said, there's a lot of beautiful bones Case has out there. I said, I like the barn board, saw cut. And he said, where do you get yours? I said, well, honestly, I get some from Smoky Mountain Knife Center. And I said, I buy a lot of knives from eBay. Now, when I buy them off eBay, I get on there and I spend time looking. I find one I like, and I put it on the watch list. And I said, if you put it on the watch list, sometimes the person that's selling that knife will see it's been on the watch list for a little while, and they'll come down on it. Plus, you can make offers on them. So I've gotten some good deals on some case knives. I got a pretty decent deal on this one, this Bearhead. You know, it was still up there a little bit, but I still got a good deal on it, especially one that you can't find anywhere. So that's a little bit of a knife talk. Kind of go with the talk about fear. So anyway, if you get fearful in life, just get on your knees, man. Just get on your knees. Because life will give you things to fear sometimes. But anyway, this is my Monday morning video 16. Monday morning inspirational. I hope it was inspirational. If it wasn't, tell me in my comments and I can change it up. You know, I'm here for the folks. I'm here for y'all. That's why I enjoy doing videos. But y'all have a great week. Make sure you be safe out there. Just watch yourself. Be sharp. And remember, keep your knife sharp. Appreciate if you'd leave a comment. Appreciate if you subscribe. Hit the bell. And hit the like. God bless all y'all guys, all you knife guys that I associate with, good friends. Y'all have a good Monday and have a good week. God bless.